Hey guys, it's Con from XO Medical Spa and welcome to my apartment here in San Diego. So during this quarantining time, obviously XO Medical Spa is closed, but that doesn't mean we should stop learning, stop educating, and we're gonna do a couple fun things while I'm hanging out here at the apartment. So the basics of aesthetics, everyone knows about Botox. So why don't we just talk about Botox? Let's dial it back, let's take away the veil and really talk about what it is in a way we can all comprehend and learn it together. So what is Botox? Botox is a neurotoxin. It's a neurotoxin that we make, and we can use that medication to either calm down the muscle or paralyze the muscle altogether. So the intent of the neurotoxin or the Botox is we're gonna dial back certain emotions that we make, and by dialing back those emotions, we can fix the wrinkles. So oftentimes people think, is the Botox gonna fix my wrinkle? Absolutely not. Sounds strange, right? Because you're paying for Botox to fix the wrinkle. But what we're doing is we're trying to dial back the emotions, and what I mean by that is calming down the muscles that actually cause the wrinkles. So the common place where people treat is this frown line. You can see I can furrow pretty well. So every time I furrow, I am ingraining that line. The more I furrow, because I'm 37 years old now, I think I'm 37, I've built up that line over 37 years. But if I can paralyze that area so I can't furrow anymore or just gently furrow, then over time, my body will naturally fill in that line pretty well. If you guys have ever met me in person or ever had a treatment with me, you guys know I love analogies, and those analogies really help me explain that process. So one of the analogies I love to use is, when we wake up in the morning, we have those pillow marks all across our face. Think of those as our wrinkles. Now throughout the day, what happens to those pillow marks? They go away, right? Because we stop making those lines. So imagine that was this furrow right here. Day in and day out, we make that furrow. But if we stop making that furrow, just like if we stop making that pillow mark, then our body has a memory to it and fills in that gap pretty well. So that's why people say Botox is for prevention, but really Botox can fix as well. So now that we have that out of the way in regards to what Botox does, how does it do that? So let's pretend I'm in my car. I'm going to use this lock as the ignition, and I'm going to use this key as an actual Botox. So this ignition is the muscle. So let's pretend I am a Botox molecule, right? I walk up to my car. The first step is I have to enter the car. Hence, I'm entering the muscle neuron. So by doing that, now I'm in the muscle neuron. How do I move that car? How do I move that muscle? I have to put the key into the ignition. So without Botox, what we do is take the key, put it in the ignition, and we turn it to start up the car. That's how we get up, we move our muscle, and we move that muscle, just like this. So neurons activate the muscle, muscle contracts. What does Botox do? We have our ignition. What Botox does is, Botox enters the car and plugs up that ignition. So if I plug up that ignition, my key cannot start the car. If it can't start the car, then the car can't drive anywhere. So, muscle can't activate without starting up that car. So the Botox blocks that pathway so we can't activate the muscles. That's kind of like a dumb and dirty way to think about Botox. So let's block that synapses, block that receptor so our muscles can't contract. Now, when we talk about Botox, when I say that, it's just for simplicity. Everyone knows Botox as the brand, but people assume it's also the procedure. The way, once again, analogies, right? If I took this and I showed you this Q-tip, what would you call it? Most people, much like myself, would call it a Q-tip, but that is a brand. In actuality, it's just called a cotton swab. Are you a Coke person? Are you a Pepsi person? Both name brands, but the umbrella is their colas or their soft drinks, but the brands are Coke and Pepsi. If we dial that more to medications, if I said go home and take an NSAID, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory, you might say, should I take an ibuprofen? Should I take a naproxen? The umbrella medication is an NSAID, but under the umbrella you have ibuprofen, you have NSAID, or you have naproxen, you have aspirin, you have Aleve, many different medications. So how does that equate to Botox? Well, the umbrella medication is botulinum. But under that umbrella, you have Botox, you have Dysport, you have Xeomin, and the new guy on the block is Jeuveau. So when people say I want Botox, anytime they come into my practice, I always say, or even my front desk when they take the phone call, do you want Botox and medication, or are you just talking about the procedure? And a lot of times that light bulb goes off, and the client's like, oh, I never thought about that. Because everyone just assumes Botox is a name brand, and everything else in that family is generic, which is absolutely not true. Botox is just one manufacturer within an umbrella of a medication. And today I won't talk about which one is better, which one is worse. That's something that we can talk about in practice, and then we can also talk about the research articles at a later time. But really, I just want to talk about Botox and what it does today. And what it does is calms down the muscles that cause the actual wrinkles itself. So, another analogy. Nice plain piece of white paper. Think of this as your face. When we're born, we have fresh baby face skin. But throughout the years, when we make an emotion, when we crumple, what we do is we make a wrinkle. So every time we crumple our face, we make a wrinkle. When we ingrain that wrinkle, it's that much harder to fix. But if we started Botox early, what happens is when we make an emotion, instead of creasing a line with a hard emotion, we can still make emotion, but it's just soft and gentle, hence never making that wrinkle. Now, going back to the analogy of the pillow work, now that we have this hard ingrained line, right, it's true, it's that much harder to fix, but the first step in fixing it is, once again, you have to calm it down. Calm down the wrinkle, calm down the emotion. Over time, your body fills it in pretty well, and then at that point, you can think about, how do I fix it with lasers? How do I fix it with fillers? How do I fix it with PDO threads? There's many numerous ways we can fix it, but the first step is always doing Botox first. So let's wrap it up. So what's Botox? Botox is a medication that we use to either paralyze or calm down a muscle. How do we do that? By blocking the keyhole that ignites our muscle activation. So if this key never gets into the lock, we can't unlock it. If we can't unlock it, we can't activate our muscles, hence we can't make the wrinkles. And then what is Botox? Botox is a brand, but now it becomes synonymous with the procedure. So, do you like Dysport? Do you like Coke? Do you like Botox? Do you like Pepsi? So hopefully that is a quick and dirty way to understand Botox, the procedure itself, and maybe after having that understanding, come in, we'll talk about it even further. We'll tailor it to you. We make everything complete to your goal and your aesthetics. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this YouTube channel, definitely give it a